What is up, internet? Your boy Ronan back at you with another video. I would apologize to you about today's video being late, but honestly, I just think this is gonna be the schedule, man. Because I do like a lot of other stuff, and like I just I have other things I'm engaged in, so I'm trying to make videos and do the other work. So yeah, it's just slow going. So this is probably just what the upload schedule is going to be, once every 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. But speaking of other things I'm doing, I got a really cool comic book called The Heavy. You can check it out in the link in the description below. If you like cool sci-fi, militaristic dramas, a lot of cool, machinery and mechs and guns and stuff, I think you should check it out. You might like it. So yeah. But what I'm gonna be doing today is today's a vlog. I'm gonna be talking about probably reviewing a comic book and going over some art I'm working on. I'm working on a pixel art piece. I will catch you at the end, and then I hope you enjoy it. All right.
So yeah, today I'm gonna be showing some time-lapse footage of this illustration I'm doing. I was previously, I showed this illustration before, just kind of briefly in another vlog, but I'm working on this illustration for this larger piece, and I was working on it, and I just said, I kind of want to do it a little differently. I do a lot of stuff like that in Illustrator, and I just I'm kind of used to it, and kind of, I don't want to say it's stale, but it's kind of easy, and it's kind of a known factor, known quantity of something that I do a lot. So I was just like, man, maybe I'll challenge myself to do something a little different. So I decided I was going to do it in pixel art. Another reason I want to do it in pixel art is because I'm going to I'm gonna start working on a video game pretty soon, and I need to work on my pixel art skills. Pixel art is kind of like the old-fashioned, like 16-bit and 8-bit type of graphics that video games used to have like a long time ago. So I decided I want to do this piece kind of in that style. But pixel art has its own challenges. Pixel art kind of has its own challenges in that like if you're doing a diagonal line or a curved line, the pixels are supposed to touch more at the, not supposed to more, they are supposed to touch at the at their edges of their corners. They're not supposed to touch at any other point. And so they can touch, like if you're doing a straight horizontal line, they can be side by side, but if you're going diagonal, you're trying to make an angle or something, they can only touch at the corners. And also when you're trying to do like a curve or whatever, or anything where the line is changing, like a curve or any kind of angle, you really want to go like almost like stair stepping from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and up, and then when you're coming down, you stair step back down. You don't want to go from using 1 pixel to using 5 pixels to using 3 pixels to go back to using 1 pixel. Like you're trying to make it smoother and more even, you know what I mean? So that makes it very difficult to do. So it's very challenging trying to do certain things because you have to do it with those constraints. Also, though, technically it's even harder the smaller you go. My illustration is a pretty big one, so it's not as hard. It's not technically as hard as it would be if it was smaller, but still it's pretty difficult. Like the character, his those shoulder pads were a nightmare to try and do, because I was trying to make everything touch at the corners, and I just couldn't do it almost, and it was just super difficult to pull off. So yeah, there's also another technique in pixel art that's kind of cool. I just love the way people figure out ways around things, because like I said, pixel art, you're trying to do a thing with a lot of constraints on you. So there's no like shading in pixel art. It's like you really have to use a thing called dithering, where you make the pixels, you spread the pixels out over time, over space, to where it looks like, to where when it's far away it looks like shading, which I think is a pretty cool concept. But yeah, so this is going to be a part of a much larger piece that I'm working on. But yeah, it was kind of, I probably shouldn't have tackled something so big. I probably should practice a little bit more on smaller pixel, on the smaller sizes and less involved drawings. But you know, I'm in it now. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. Also, I want to say I skip over a lot of it. Like, you didn't really see me draw. It's more of me coloring it and you know, doing the coloring on it, because when I was actually making the outline, it was just so much trial and error, and it was taking so long to do it that that no one wants to see that. And it was taking a lot of footage because I was just constantly, you know, messing up and trying to figure it out. So that's why you won't see me doing the actual drawing. But yeah. So I simplified him and made him more symmetrical because he's going to be part of a larger piece, and actually most of him is going to get cut off by text anyway. But Also, another reason I simplified them is because a lot of pixel art is not as dynamic. Like that, the angle that he was at on the vector drawing is more dynamic than pixel art tends to generally be. So I was trying to keep in line with the aesthetics of how pixel art works. So yeah. But like I said, most of them is going to be cut off by text. I didn't put all the trinkets and all the little medallions and stuff he had on his rope chains and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's pretty much it's the same character.
All right, yo. Back with another comic review. I'm going to try and do this one fast because they go on too long, and I don't think anybody wants to hear me talk drone off that long. Anyways, this comic book is a comic book called Battling Boy. Really cool comic by one of the best in the game, by the guy named Paul Pope, who did this. Remember when I did this, my very first video of Batman Year 100? So this is one of his original graphic novels. And again, it's one of the type of comic books that I like. It's funny that I like these types of comics because all my comic book ideas are kind of like real dour and kind of serious. But it's another one of these kind of silly, doesn't take itself too seriously type comics. But it's silly, but again, it has the things I like. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's really creative and it's got good art. That's what I like in these comics. So it's about this young demigod who, like, when he turns 12 or 13, they have to go. Basically, he has to go on a quest to. It's almost like he hit puberty, so now he has to go become like this warrior or something. They call it the turning. And so, it's just got really cool artwork. Like, look at this place where they live. Look at this. Look at this shot of this just city over this. I don't know what you would call this. Some kind of he calls it a lightning cloud, but I guess this is the portal to other dimensions and stuff. But this is just so gorgeous, the artwork. I love his uses of black. Like, look at this. All this black. This is very Mobius inspired right here too, and a little bit of Jack Kirby, of course. With just the empty bare areas, that's very Mobius like in its illustration. So anyways, Battling Boy, this is his dad. He comes home and he's like, oh yeah, he's turning 12 or 13 or whatever, so he has to go, they call it the turning or rambling. And he has to go off and kind of, fight and almost like go on adventures to become, I guess, like a hero or something. So he comes home and he's like, he gets Battling Boy and he goes like, hey, we gotta go. So, and Battling Boy kind of doesn't want to go because, he's still a kid and he wants to play with his friends and stuff. So they go to, I don't know if this is supposed to be Earth or what, but they go to this city called Arcopolis, not Acropolis, Arcopolis. And Arcopolis is this gigantic city that's being overrun by monsters. You can see this monster right here. This goofy looking monsters chewing up, tearing cars up and stuff. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. So this monster right here is eating up cars at the moment when Battling Boy and his dad arrive. So they come out of the other dimension and they land. And it's kind of funny. Battling Boy is giving all kind of excuses as to why he doesn't want to go. And he's like, well, I don't have my stuff. And then his dad just like whistles. And then I like how this little suitcase falls out of this dimensional thing and lands at his feet. And he's like, all your stuff's in here, so no excuses or whatever. So and then he leaves him. So the city previously had this guy who was kind of like Batman, kind of like a little bit of an Adam Strange kind of guy from DC Comics. He was like the hero of the city, and he would save it from the bad guys and from the monsters. So He's not really a bad guy, a Batman type character. Like I say, he reminds me more of an Adam Strange. He's more of like a sci-fi kind of hero. Let me see a good picture of him. He's shot here. Where is he? I guess this is a pretty good. I don't know. Can you see it? But he has like this jetpack. He has kind of like this Rocketeer, old retro kind of look to him. You know, he has this kind of cool looking sci-fi kind of blaster, you know, with like the glass cathode tube thing. I don't know, where's my finger at? It's kind of hard to, yeah. So very, very retro, old fashioned. That's a pretty good shot of him. So anyway, he, at the beginning of the comic book, he gets killed. He's trying to rescue these kids from these bad guys. This bad guy called Sadisto. Sadisto looks kind of cool. I like how he has these wrappings. Let me find another good picture of Sadisto. Let me find another good picture of him. But anyways, he has these wrappings in this cloak on. He looks real creepy. Kind of creepy. So, where is he at? Yeah, here's a good shot of him. Pretty cool looking with these like kind of like mummy wrappings on him and his hood and these flowing, I don't know, what would you call those? I don't know much about fashion, but yeah, he has a really cool character design there. His whole gang, they're all like really lanky and stuff, and they're basically kidnapping children. So you got the monsters that are invading the city, and then these bad guys. They call themselves the Ghoul Gang. They're kidnapping kids. They don't really explain why they're kidnapping kids. Also, this is a graphic novel. This is not a comic book. So it's pretty big. So hopefully he'll get to another volume. But anyways, so Haggard West, which is a cool last name too, he gets killed. They have a funeral for him and everything. This is, you know, his memorial or whatever. And his daughter takes up his mantle. She was in training to take up his mantle already anyway, though. So his daughter, Aurora West, which is a cool name too, she's going to try and take up his mantle. You know, because I guess it's kind of like a family thing. There's another shot of his blaster. I like it. It's very old-fashioned looking, but it looks cool. Like, I normally don't like old-fashioned looking stuff like this, but Paul Pope can make like very retro looking stuff look cool. So anyways, this monster's sitting up here chewing up cars and stuff, and this is when Battling Boy arrives. And Battling Boy comes down, and so he decides he has to fight the monster. He doesn't really want to. He's very reluctant. So he goes to fight the monster. And he can't beat it up. This is one thing I kind of don't like about the comic. He doesn't really explain what Battling Boy's powers are, what he can do, you know, what he can and cannot do. One thing that it seems to be is Battling Boy has all these t-shirts with different different animals on them, and then he gets the powers of those animals seemingly. But he also seems to be pretty tough, like almost kind of invulnerable, because the monster slaps him and he, you know, knocks him around and all kind of stuff, and it doesn't seem to hurt him. So I guess he's super strong, like he breaks the monster's teeth out and things like that. But like he doesn't really explain what his powers are, which is kind of annoying. But anyways, Battling Boy is having a problem fighting the monster, so he calls his dad, and his dad told him not to call him unless it was a absolute emergency. But because he's a kid and he's not sure of himself and he doubts himself, he calls his dad, and his dad's in another dimension fighting some monster dude. And that's a cool shot. So his dad's in this other dimension fighting this other monster dude, and he you know, he calls his dad and he's talking to him while he's fighting, and his dad's like, did you try this, did you try that? And Battling Boy's being all whiny. He's like, yeah, blah blah blah, I tried this, I tried that. So then finally his dad is fighting this thing, and he just gets annoyed, and he just goes, I don't have time for this, and he shoots this lightning bolt from his fingertips from that dimension all the way to this dimension and just kills the monster. So then everybody thinks that Battling Boy killed the monster with a lightning bolt, but Battling Boy can't shoot lightning from his fingers. He's like not as powerful as his dad because he's just a kid right now. So now everybody thinks he shot him with the lightning bolt, and he's kind of like the toast of the town. Also, like the mayor of the town, where is it at? The mayor's kind of like wants to use him for PR purposes. So the mayor, they take him under their wing, even though he kind of doesn't want to be there, and he agrees to help him, even though he should have helped. That's what he's there for in the first place. So he's gonna help him, and then they have a whole parade, and they have a whole parade for him and stuff, and give him a name, call him Arco Lad, because they the PR people came up with it. So let's see. So they call him Arco Lad, and they're having a whole parade, and they're doing his hair up and stuff, and it's really funny. So they do his hair up, and let's see if we can. There we go. And he doesn't want to do any of this stuff. So, but he has to do it. So they're having this parade, and then all the bad guys, after he showed up and killed the monster, all the bad guys decided to kind of band together, and they attacked this parade. I like the bad guys too. They're just, it's really funny. It's like they're just kind of weird, kind of surreal. Like they don't make any sense the way they look. They're just like, you got this hyena dude and this squid dude and these spider dudes. I like this spider right here. How he's putting on his glasses right here in this panel right here. He's got, glasses for all his eyes. Let me see if I can focus that. Yeah, that's funny to me. And he's putting his glasses on all his eyes because the bad guys, the Ghoul Gang, wants them to spend them new uniforms. So, anyways, it's just all the monsters, all the bad guys in here are just weird looking, and they're just like, he goes in here and orders a drink. Where's the guy go? He goes, what'll it be, Mr. Sadisto? And he says, paint thinner. It's just funny. They're weird looking. I don't know what this demon thing is. I don't know what this is. Kind of reminds me when me and my friend were a kid and we would just draw random, like, surreal, crazy looking characters. And that's what just all the monsters in this comic book look like. They're just weird looking. But it's just a really cool little comic. Like I said, it's really silly, super creative. I love the coloring on here. Paul Pope is just kind of a master of so many different genres. So he hasn't made another one. This came out in 2013, and he hasn't made another one. He has written 2 volumes about Aurora West though, which he wrote them, but he didn't draw them. I might check them out. They have a different artist, and I think one of them's in black and white, or they might both be in black and white, which I am not a fan of. For something this loud, like look at the colors of this, you know what I mean? Also, I don't like this. This isn't really digest format per se. It's not as small as a digest book, but it's also not full size. So that makes it, and this type of binding, what is this, perfect binding? Yeah, I guess it's perfect binding. But this kind of binding makes it, of course, it's a nice object and it feels good, but I hate these graphic novels where you kind of have to fight to keep the pages open sometimes. You have to almost bend them to keep them open, but otherwise, I mean, it's a really cool comic book, and it's highly recommended. So, this is Battling Boy. So that was a video. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Like I said, I think my upload schedule is just going to be spotty for a while. Because I have just so much stuff to do. But like I said, I appreciate you, especially if you got this far in the video. I don't know how long it is. I'm recording this before I've put the whole thing together, so it might be, I don't know how long the video is. But if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It really helps me out a lot. And I will catch you in the next one. All right, peace.